Hello everyone, welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian. I'm broadcasting to you live from beautiful Budapest, Hungary, Central Europe. And we are doing a class on speaking today on the IELTS speaking section. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do so. Academic English Helps YouTube channel. Hi Arcana. Good to see you. Good to see you. Arcana, can you tell me, can you hear me okay? Can you see the board behind me all right? Hi, Manisha. Good to see you in class. Hi, Jeffrey. Awesome. There you are, Gary. Good to see you in there. Great. Hopefully you can hear me and see me. Thanks, Arcana, for that response. That's enough of a confirmation for me. As usual, our materials are coming from our websites. Got a little bit of exciting news there for you today. For academic IELTS, it's aehelp.com. And for general IELTS, it's gieltshelp.com. So please go there and check out our full courses. We're developing some great material for you to help you pass your IELTS. Today is a speaking class, so repeat me as much as you can. Repeat, repeat, repeat. I can't hear you, but I can definitely see the chat and your comments, and I trust that you're repeating me nice and loud. It's great practice for your speaking. Try to mimic my pronunciation, my intonation, my speed of communication, and that's great. Satyam, thank you for that nice feedback. I appreciate that. That's awesome. I hope your IELTS test went well and you got a great score. You are very, very welcome, Pradeep. Okay, guys, so again, check out our full courses. Join them. It's worth a small investment. It'll help you to pass the IELTS and avoid the much bigger investment of having to pay $300 for a second, third, or fourth test. Big news for AE Help. We have new interactive exams that you can use on your phone and your PC. That'll be going into our app as well over the next few days. So if you go to aehelp.com, especially if you're a full course user, you can now click on some really cool interactive exams where you can listen to the audio, click the answers. It will tell you if you got them right or wrong, how you did. The site also includes a whole bunch of great videos for you without ads and so on, so that you can study anywhere, anytime, as long as you have internet. Here's the schedule for our live classes. Today we're doing speaking. Tomorrow we'll have a class at 15 o'clock. All of this is Central European Summer Time, or CEST. That will be a sponsored chat, so sponsors can chat in there and get a little deeper understanding. Tomorrow's class will be Task 1, Manufacturing Process, and then we'll have lots of other great classes coming for you in the month. All right, so let's get right into it. Waste not, want not. That refers to time as well. What can I do to improve my IELTS speaking score? So just going to throw that out there for you. What can you do to improve your IELTS speaking score? So of course you want to practice speaking as much as possible. You want to have a speaking partner, a speaking tutor if possible. But what else can you do? Let's get into some details. What else can you do? Amarwadi, yeah, you want to practice your listening for sure, because speaking is only half part. The other part is listening. So you need to understand the questions in order to be able to communicate well. Repetition is good. Practicing with a partner is good. Recording on your phone, that's excellent advice. That's something a little bit more specific. We'll put that up there, Jeffrey. That's a good one. So I'm trying not to repeat myself here too much, and I want to definitely give you some advice that's useful, and you might not be doing it yet. So use your phone to record your speaking, and then what should you do? So is that enough? Is it enough just to record yourself? Film yourself. Filming yourself is actually a very clever piece of advice, Arcana. I've never said that to students, but definitely a clever piece of advice. And we have cameras everywhere now, so actually visually seeing yourself speak is a very, very good piece of advice. And Jeffrey says, correct it after. Yeah, that's the big one, girls and guys. You really want to have correction with your speaking and your writing. It's very, very important. So use your phone to record your speaking, then listen to it. And I know many people don't like to listen to their own voice, but you have to. Then listen to your speech, make corrections. Okay, and then what should I do? Is that enough? Should I do anything else? Shadow method is good, Huya Nguyen, partly by using your phone to record your IELTS speaking questions and answers. That's great. If we're not experts on correcting them, Manisha, that's a really, really good question. Hey, what can I do if I'm not an expert and I can't correct myself? You have to get feedback. That's where you need to find a teacher, need to find someone who speaks English at a higher level and either hire them or exchange languages with them or do something so that they can help you to correct that speech. Absolutely. You have to correct mistakes. Jeffrey, very good. Paying attention. Awesome. Say it again, record it again. And listen again, okay? So that's really important. You definitely want to do that. Sonnet, absolutely. Repeating after me is a great practice as well. By the time students get to an intermediate level in English in their writing and in their speaking, often what happens is they get these what's called fossilized mistakes. It means they learn mistakes, they keep using the mistake, and then they have a lot of problem to change the way that they speak so they don't make these mistakes. This is one of the ways that you can correct your fossilized mistakes by checking your speech, making corrections, recording it again, and of course repeating native speakers, movies, other audio that you listen to as much as possible. That's great, Jeffrey. If you're watching these videos, then you'll know. Baljot, that's a good question. No, your accent doesn't really matter. A lot of people get really paranoid about their pronunciation in the IELTS speaking section, or their accent, the way that they speak. It really doesn't matter that much. There are a lot of different dialects and accents in English around the world. So as long as I can understand what you're saying, the accent doesn't matter. If your accent is so heavy that I can't understand you, then it's a problem. But that's quite rare for students at the intermediate level, okay? So that's great. All right, so you get to your IELTS exam, you're confident, you're ready, you've practiced lots, you remember that the IELTS interviewer is kind of like your grandpa, so you want to be comfortable with them, confident with them, speak loudly because grandpa's old. Their hearing might be a little bit, you know, on the iffy side, a little bit damaged, so they want to hear you. Speak loud to them. If you, for some reason, need IELTS to give you a new score later on because you're not happy with your score, they need to use the recorder. They need to be able to hear your voice on the recorder to do that if you want to get evaluated. So speak loud, speak clear, speak in complete sentences. Don't assume that your listener knows what you know. Speak in details. And Manisha, you have a very good point. Focus on real life examples. So your basic strategy is give the answer, give your explanation, give a real life example, and then stop speaking, okay? Wait for the next question. You want to receive a good number of questions from the IELTS examiner so that they can really evaluate your speaking well, okay? So don't just keep talking until they stop you. That's not a good strategy. That's really awkward communication. We don't speak like that in real life, so don't do that, okay? Vishu, I will get to that. I will talk about how to generate some ideas for the cue card. Okay, so you get to part one, and you walk into this interview room, and of course the IELTS speaking examiner says, and here is where you really want to repeat me, no matter where you are. So the IELTS examiner says, "Welcome to the speaking section of the IELTS exam. My name is Adrian. I will be your interviewer for this part of the test. It's made up of 3 parts. I will give you instructions for each part. For part 1, in the beginning, I'd like to get to know you a little bit better. Can we start with your full name, please? Of course, I missed the part where they ask for your passport. Make sure you have your ID with you. They'll put that to the side. And then they'll say, let's start with your full name, please. So what do you answer? I know it's repetitive, but I want all of the old viewers and new viewers to be really confident and sure how to answer this question. So can I start with your full name, please? What is a good answer for this question? So Arcana says, my name is Arcana Stanley, or my name is Sanim Tamang. My name is Gural Singh. There's a nice answer, Manisha. My full name is Manisha Thakur. Please just call me Manisha. That's a good answer, okay? So my full name is Manisha Thakur. Let me get the Thakur. Sorry if I'm butchering the pronunciation of some of your names. Obviously, I'm more used to growing up in the Western culture, so I'm not familiar with all different names, but I'll do my best. My full name is Manisha Thakur, but you can just please call me Manisha. Please just call me Manisha. And that's really good to add, okay? Practice this sentence with me. That's really good to add that part. My name is Manisha Thakur. Please just call me Manisha. You want to add this because almost always the IELTS examiner will ask you, and what should I call you? So don't wait for that question. Just show your fluency. Give that answer right away. And then they'll ask you some kind of a question like, okay, Manisha, can you please tell me how your day was yesterday? So how your day went yesterday. What if they ask you this question? I haven't used this one before. So what if they say, okay, Manisha, can you tell me a little bit about how your day was yesterday? What can you answer to this question? What is a good, nice, full sentence answer to this classic get to know you question? Icebreaker. Let's see what you can come up with. And please, there's a lot of students watching. I can see the numbers, so just jump in there. Don't be worried about making a mistake. I'm here to help you figure out your mistake and help correct your mistake. Karan says, it was superb. That's a really nice answer, Karan. Superb is a nice, natural, common type of expression. Pradeep, my day was awesome. Very good. Yeah, that's another good one. Superb and awesome are great classic common everyday expressions used by native speakers. I had a really great time with my family. Let me combine that a little bit. So my day was awesome. I had a really great time with my family. Okay, let's add a little bit more to that to make it a nice high-level answer. My day was marvelous. Harmail, again, a nice one. So girls and guys, if these are new for you, definitely write them down. Superb, awesome, marvelous. My day was full of journey is a bit awkward, Manasa. I'd be a little bit surprised if one of my friends used that expression. It's a little bit awkward. It's not common for me anyway. Begzad says, well, it was a bit depressing because I was worried about today's speaking exam. That's good. The about is a mistake in that sentence, Begzad, so careful with that. Yesterday I went on a picnic, so it was very exciting and entertaining. I don't know if a picnic is exciting and entertaining so much. It's a little bit awkward, Pachu. I would say that maybe if you said something like, we had some delicious food and it was nice and relaxing, that would be a little bit more indicative of a picnic. Diego, my day was terrific. Another good word. Terrific, awesome, superb. Those are great words to use. So I had a really great time with my family. We went on a picnic and enjoyed some delicious burgers together. Okay, that's enough. You don't need to say more than that. And then the IELTS examiner might follow up on that and say something like, that's great. And what kind of foods do you usually like to eat? Okay, so they'll often get into everyday kind of follow-up questions with whatever you're responding before they get into specific task one questions. They'll ask you 2 or 3 of these what's called icebreaker questions, okay? So again, the IELTS examiner now says, that's great, and what kind of foods do you usually like to eat? Okay, what would you say to that? Amar Wadi says, seafood is my favorite food. Leanne says, fast food. Quick, greasy, delicious, unhealthy, but I don't care. I exercise. That would be a nice way to follow that up, Leanne. Baljit, I like eating seafood most of the time. Finish it up with an example. My favorite is lobster, or my favorite is salmon. Okay, throw some kind of name of a fish, name of a crayfish, something like that in there. I like to eat okra as I am a vegetarian, Khaled. I think you might have a partner in crime there because I have a feeling that vegan Jeffrey is also not just a vegetarian, but probably a vegan. I'm not sure if everybody knows what that means, so I'm guessing Jeffrey's favorite foods are certain type of plants and salads. Correct me if I'm wrong there, Jeffrey. Shadri says, I love homemade food. Yeah, mama's cooking is best. That's a great way to answer that as well. Awesome. So, sure. My favorite food is seafood, and I especially like shellfish. I try to eat shrimp and lobster as often as I can. All right. Sure. So again, repeat after me. My favorite food is seafood, and I especially like shellfish. I try to eat shrimp and lobster as often as I can. Karen, Sran, burger is my life. Hey, that's a good answer too. Just make sure you go into why you like burgers so much. So burger is my life. There's nothing better in the world than a well-grilled patty squeezed between two buns with a bit of ketchup. Yum, yum, that's delicious. All right, those are all great answers using some natural language there. Excellent, girls and guys. Excellent. Keep it up. Keep it up. Just let those answers flow. All right, and then they'll get into the specific topic of part one. So they'll have lots of topics to choose from. They'll already have chosen the topics by the time you're in there. Sometimes students ask me, what if I don't know anything about the topic? Can I ask them to change it? Sorry, probably not. It's very unlikely that they'll be able to change the topic for you. They feel that if you have English skills, you should be able to have a conversation about any of the topics that they decide on. The problem is that sometimes students try to memorize certain topics, and that's why they're asking for the topic to change, and that doesn't really work for the IELTS people. So they leave it up to the examiner to choose. They get them to stick with that topic, and that's what you're going to be talking about. So here, part one, the examiner will say, let's talk about volunteering. Okay? Now, hopefully you know the meaning of volunteering. It means to do free work. Okay? And then they'll say some simple first opening question like, do you do any volunteer work? What is a good answer for this question? Do you do any volunteer work? Okay? What would be a strong answer for this opening question? Do you do any volunteer work? Always pay attention to the grammar. This is general, present tense. So your answer should reflect that grammar form. So what would be some good answers for this? I'll leave it up to you. Again, remember those personal examples. This is a great kind of a question to throw a personal answer in there. Leanne says, yes, I do. And I think you want to say, yes, I definitely do some volunteer work, such as, okay. Cass, curious, I volunteered at a company to enhance my skill set. Get into some more details because I definitely want to know what kind of a company and what kind of a skill set you were actually improving. Pratik Ja says, yes, I do, especially in a poor community. I love to volunteer. And then tell me what you do. Arkenna says, actually, I assume that I'm a good volunteer. I usually coordinate some cultural activities in my society, such as dance practice for teenage girls. So give me a little bit of an example there. Shergel 838 says, yes, of course, I like to organize camps for disabled children. it really pleases me to put a smile on their face. Again, push some kind of nice native natural language in there. Repeat after me, girls and guys. Make sure you're repeating this. If I'm going too fast and you're not catching it, the video will be uploaded on our channel in about an hour, so you can go back and practice it again. But if you can do it in real time, that's super cool. Manisha says, yes, I do. I sponsor a YouTube channel, Help by Mr. Adrian. I donate money. Careful, Manisha. Donating money and doing volunteer work is not the same thing. So you wouldn't actually get good scores for that. I appreciate the advertising plug, don't get me wrong. But if you talk about donating money to charity, donating money is not the same as volunteering. Volunteering means that you give your time, okay? So careful not to confuse. Okay, so we have one more. Shavim says, yes, I do, such as planting trees and giving free tuition to students who are not financially strong. Again, Shavim, giving free tuition is not volunteering. Planting trees is. So careful. Make sure you keep your communication coherent. The biggest damage to many students' scores is coherence, okay? Yes, certainly. I like to volunteer my time to help others as much as I can. For instance, this last summer, I worked pro bono at a camp for disabled children. It was very rewarding to see them smile. Okay, so that would be a band 9 answer if you're really saying, hey, I want to get band 9 because I basically want to give my work application or school application to any school or any workplace, and I want to get full tuition, scholarship, or the best job. I want to start as the CEO, and you want to get a band 9, then you have to really push for these kinds of responses. So again, repeat after me. Yes, certainly, I like to volunteer my time to help others as much as I can. For instance, this last summer, I worked pro bono at Camp for Disabled Children. It was very rewarding to see them smile, okay? Pro bono means for free, okay? So working for pro bono means for free. It's a nice natural expression there for you. All right, and then stop there and let the examiner ask you the next question. And the next question could very easily be something like this. Is it common to do volunteer work in your country? Is it common to do volunteer work in your country? What could be a good answer for this one? Okay. Vandana, I just read your response. That's a good one as well. All right. So starting with a yes, Rohini, is a good idea. You want to keep following that up. If you're not sure what you want to say, ask for some time. You can say, yes, it is. Just give me a second to explain that to you. All right. Well, I suppose in every district within my city, there are at least 2 or 3 volunteer centers where people can go and find ways to help the community. And then you can get into it, okay? So know how to stretch your time. Practice that at home, all right? Manasa says, no, in my country, wherever you're from, Manasa, you should say that. So no, in my country, people don't generally have a culture of volunteering. Rather, it depends on individuals. So get into that a little bit, especially if you say no. Parneet says, yes, people of my country are very helpful and kind. They're spiritual, so it's common to help through religion. In India, people are encouraged to volunteer for help. You want to be a little bit more clear, Parneet. So if you're coming from India, and in India it's common to volunteer because it has a large poor population, and religion also encourages volunteering, tell me that, okay? So tell me what the religion is, what it tells people to do, how to help how to help others who are in need, and what kind of specific volunteering is common, okay? Rohini says, yes, it is. Nowadays, people are campaigning for helping others to be healthy. So they host volunteer camps where people can do lots of exercise. I helped at one of these last year. Okay, so again, try to be a little bit more clear. Arcana says, yes, in my country, people tend to help each other, so we have a lot of volunteering centers around the city. For instance, there are community centers for helping the elderly, for helping people who are poor, such as soup kitchens. So give me a couple of nice little details so that I can give you a higher band score, okay? Focus in on that, all right? Okay, so yes, indeed. Canadians are proud to say that they volunteer per capita more than any other country in the world. It is a key part of its mosaic culture. There are community centers all over the country where people donate their time to help the poor, the hungry, and the disabled. All right. So as a Canadian, I am proud to say that, according to some statistics, Canadians love to volunteer. Of course, that's in part because it is a very wealthy country, so people have the opportunity to volunteer and not worry about their sustenance needs. Nonetheless, you can use the same thing. Again, in IELTS, it doesn't have to be the truth. So even if in your country people don't volunteer, but you can't think of a good answer quickly with that, you can just say, yes, people in my country volunteer more than anywhere else. So yes, indeed, Canadians, again, I'm saying this because I want you to repeat me. Okay, so yes, indeed, Canadians are proud to say that they volunteer per capita more than any other country in the world. It is a key part of its mosaic culture. There are community centers all over the country where people donate their time to help the poor, the hungry, and the disabled. Okay, so yes, I'll slow down a little bit. I know Arcana, I think it was Arcana that said I'm going a little bit too fast, so so I'll go a little bit down. Pronunciation of the, okay, the. I don't want to show you my teeth, so I'm not going to climb on the camera, but the is created by pushing your tongue against your teeth. Let me see if I can find some free space here. I'm answering this in detail because I know this is a question that a lot of students ask. So here's your mouth, here are your teeth, okay? The tongue goes up against the teeth, and the TH sound, so this is what one of the students just asked, the TH sound is created by pushing air outwards and moving the tongue down from that position. So the, okay, TH, the. So you're pushing the air out between your teeth. These are your lips. Here's your nose, okay? Some nose hair. Here you're taking your tongue, you have this bend to the tongue, and you're pushing your tongue a little bit forward, and the air comes out through there. So that's the, and then with the A, you drop it down, okay? All right. Yeah, I got to get some humor in there with the nose here, Jeffrey, obviously. Keep you focused. Okay, so let's get back on target here and continue with our speaking. That's the nice thing about live classes. We can be a little bit more interactive. So if you do have these questions pop into your mind, then I figure everybody is probably curious about that. I can go into a little bit more detail. Okay, so you've answered some of these task 1 questions. There's a couple of more here. Is volunteer work rewarding? Why or why not? What do you think is the best way for a person to give their time? Has anyone volunteered to help you in any way? Let's answer this last one, and then let's save some time for part 2. I'm sure a lot of students are curious about, hey, part 2 cue card, what do I do? Okay, yes, Baljot, I have done a little bit of work in that as well. Okay, so let's focus on this last task 1 question, then we'll get to our task 2. So has anyone volunteered to help you in any way? Pay very close attention to the present perfect has. You should be using present perfect in your answer, okay? Let's have some answers for this question. Has anyone volunteered to help you in any way? Think quick. If you need time, ask for it. That's an interesting question. Just give me a moment to try to think about that, and then you can come up with an answer. Manisha, this time, that's a good one. Yes. Yes, there is a teacher who has held many live IELTS classes online, which has helped me greatly to pass the exam, or helped me to prepare. Okay, Vandana, yes, recently a very kind person helped me to raise funds for stray dogs. Not going to get you a very good score because it's you, helped you in any way. So either, Vandana, you have to make it more clear for me how that helped you. But so far what you've said actually told me that somebody and you together volunteered to help dogs, not you. So careful, the subject is you, okay? Arcana, when I was in my high school, my school teacher helped me with dance lessons free of charge, okay? So add that in, show that you recognize the controlling idea of the question, which is still volunteering here, okay? Till now, I have not been helped by anybody, as I like to do my work on my own, by myself, and love to help others. Parneet, good idea. Watch your grammar, okay? Till now, no one has helped me. Why are we using present perfect, or why is the examiner using present perfect in this question? This is a little bit of a grammar anecdote or side note. Why is the examiner using present perfect here? Okay, and Rohini, same thing. That's a good answer, but you need to show that present perfect. Okay, I'm seeing too many answers that don't include present perfect. Now I'm seeing some that do. Chahal, well, yes, I have been helped by my people. For instance, once when somebody gave me medicine when I was very ill and didn't have money to fill the prescription. Okay, Chahal, I hope you caught the end of that. All right. So why am I using present perfect? I still haven't seen anybody answer that. Exactly, Manisha. Very good. You remembered that present perfect lesson. Examiner is expecting something. They're expecting that you have been helped in some way. Most people in their life have been helped by some other individual at some point, free of charge. So there's an expectation here. It's loaded with an expectation. One of the reasons we use present perfect in the English language is to show our expectation towards the other person. And that's what this question is doing here. So it's showing that expectation. So you need to indicate in your answer with present perfect that you recognize that expectation. So yes, I have been helped by several individuals over the years free of charge. For example, I watched a YouTube channel for free to help me prepare for the IELTS exam. Okay, so yeah, that could be a good way. And Rohini, that's definitely how you want to start that response. Yes, or yeah, I have been helped over the years or since my childhood, okay? All right, good. So then the examiner will say, that is the end of part 1. Now we will go on to part 2. For part 2, I'm going to give you a card with some questions on it. You will have 1 minute to prepare some notes. Think about your answers. Here's some note paper and a pencil for that. And then after the 1 minute, you will have 2 minutes to talk. I will tell you when to start and when to stop. Are you ready to begin? And then you say, yes, I'm ready to go. And then they will say, okay, your 1 minute preparation time begins now. So you turn over the card and you will see one of 4 different ideas. Okay, you will see one of 4 different major topics of discussion. It will be either about a person, so something about people. It will be something about an event, okay, so either people or an event, or it will be a place of some kind, or it will be an object. Make sure to practice speaking little 2-minute mini presentations about all 4 of these as you get prepared for IELTS exams. They love switching these up. Maybe the most common one is something about people, but they're roughly equal weighted. That means that in about a quarter of the exams, part 2 will be about people. In about a quarter of the exams, you'll be talking about some kind of a place or location. In about a quarter of the exams, it will be some kind of an event, a memory, a TV show, something that happens. And in about a quarter of the events, it will be about some kind of an object, something that you own, something that you lost, something that you wish you could buy, and so on. So make sure that you spend an equal amount of time practicing about each of these, and you know what you need to say, what you need to include, and how to go into details, okay? If you're not sure, if you're not confident, on our website, okay, either at ahelp.com or glshelp.com, there's a button that you can click on and you can buy practice Skype IELTS interviews with us, with native speakers, okay? So you can check that out. All right. So today's topic, we're talking about a memorable landmark you have visited. Make sure to have a good understanding of this topic and controlling idea, okay? So here it's a memorable landmark. It's a location that you have seen, that you have visited. We've talked about Niagara Falls for this in the past. We have an example about the Taj Mahal on our website for this one, but there are a lot of different memorable landmarks. I believe we've done the Eiffel Tower as well. So let's try to focus on something a little bit different, okay? You can absolutely talk about a religious place, Shergul. So if you have a memorable landmark that you can talk about, that's a religious place. A lot of landmarks are religious places. One of the memorable landmarks that I have visited over the years is Todaiji Temple in Nara, Japan. Absolutely beautiful and incredible structure. I'm not going to get into that right now, but if I got this card, I might talk about that, and that is a Buddhist temple. So, or sorry, it might even be Shinto originally, I'm not sure. Okay, no, it's Buddhist. So let's get into this. So when you're talking about a landmark, you want to talk about its appearance. You want to discuss its function, history, and who goes there. Okay, so no matter what kind of a location you're talking about, you're most likely going to have to answer each one of these 4 points. What does it look like? Let me visualize it as your listener. Let me see it in my head. You will definitely have to tell me about what purpose does it serve. If it's a religious place, what happens there? If it's a shopping mall, what happens there? Tell me the history of it. When was it built? What has happened to it in the years? What's happening with it today? And who goes there? Who are the people that that go there? All right, girls and guys, let's pick a topic. So let's pick a topic for this answer. Give me some ideas for a memorable landmark that you visited. Let's work together, pick one kind of topic, and then we'll focus in on that and expand our ideas, okay? I'm waiting for some suggestions from our lovely viewers, Arcana, so I'm throwing this out there for you. Let's talk about something that most people will be familiar with. Rajasthan Square is good. Taj Mahal, we've done that before, Harry. Pyramids of Giza in Egypt, Amar Wadi, that is probably a good one. It's a very good idea to pick something that's an international heritage site. Manassa, the Twin Towers could be a good one. It's very depressing, so I'm not going to focus in on that one right now, but it could be a good pick. Colosseum, Giovanni, is a very good one as well. Let's talk about the Great Pyramids of Giza. Okay. That would be a good pick because that's very easy to talk about. Okay. The Sphinx would be an okay one too, but I think the pyramids would be even easier. So let's talk about the Great Pyramid of Giza. We haven't done that one yet. Okay, so here, of course, you're focusing on the other questions that are on your card. So you should say what the place is, who you were there with, what happens in this place, and why this landmark is so memorable for you. Okay, so you want to talk about these points. Don't forget them. Look at the card. That's why they give you the card with the questions. So many times, again, this is a refresher. I see it happen so too many times. Students will look at the card, read the questions. They start talking for 2 minutes, and then they stop, and they didn't answer 1, 2, or even sometimes 3 questions on the card. They're completely off topic. The card is there so you can look at it again and again while you're speaking so that you make sure that you're covering those questions. If you don't talk about those questions, you can't get a good score. So use your card, use your notes. That's why you have them, okay? Don't just put the card in front of you and not look at it while you're talking. Don't just write down your notes and not look at them while you're talking. Use them, okay? Again, a good pick, girls and guys, if you got something like this, is some kind of an internationally recognized heritage landmark, such as the pyramid or the Great Wall of China, would be another good one. So make sure you're picking something that you can talk about and it's easy for the other person to understand, okay? There are definitely some internationally recognized religious places as well. Okay, so how should I start my answer here? Okay, so we're talking about the Great Pyramid of Giza. How should I start my answer? Based on these cards questions. Baljit Taj Mahal would definitely be the one that I would choose if I were from India, especially if you know some good ideas there. So Ayman says, well, I have visited a lot of landmarks with my family, but the most memorable one is the Great Pyramid of Giza. It is not only huge, but also unique. Would be a great way. I'm on good start. So I have visited many landmarks with my family, but if I had to choose, I would say the most memorable is the Great Pyramid of Giza. Not only is it huge, it can be seen from space, if you know that, but it is also very unique with its triangular or pyramid shape, right? Okay, that's an excellent way to start. So, good. I have visited many landmarks in my family, but if I had to choose, I would say the most memorable is the Great Pyramid of Giza. Not only is it huge, it can be seen, not only is it huge, it can be seen from space, but it is also very unique with its triangular shape. Okay? Pradeep, I have visited the Great Pyramid of Giza and wondered about its history. It looks huge and unique compared to the pictures that I saw from childhood. That's a good way to get into it as well. So there's some good answers there. Okay, what can I follow this with? So what should I say after that? Baljeet, that's good. I went there on a school trip with classmates in grade 11. Back in 2006, okay? So again, details. Girls and guys, use details. Quantitative language, visible language. Make sure that you try to include these details. It's these details that push your score high in grade 11, back in 2006. So you want to have those details in there. Sure. Vegan Jeffrey, that's good too. I went with my family during summer vacation back when I was in high school in 05. Okay, give me a year, give me a number. That, if you, as soon as you say 05, that tells me, okay, this was 13 years ago. All right, it was super exciting. Yeah, definitely Arcana. Add some good natural expressions in there. It was super exciting. Okay. All right, great. Where was it? Where is it located? What does it look like? Okay, so it's surrounded by mountains. Sure. Where is it? Where do you find the Great Pyramid of Giza? Where do you find it? It is breathtaking, sure. So some abstract language, some descriptive language is good, but you also want to be, yeah, it's one of the 7 wonders of the world and is located where, Mohammed? Nice to see you in here, by the way, Mohammed. I don't know if I saw you earlier. Okay. It is one of the 7 wonders, by the way, that should be capital in writing. 7 wonders of the world. Located in, anybody know what desert that's in? It's definitely in Egypt. Anybody know what kind of a desert? Is it the Nairobi desert? Somebody will correct me if I'm wrong. Located in the Nairobi desert. Of Egypt, right? Is it the Sahara? Thank you for that correction. I don't know everything, but hey, girls and guys, here's the funny part. If you say Nairobi Desert, you'll actually get points. The IELTS examiner is not judging whether you know the name of the actual desert or not. They're seeing how well you put details into your speech. So if you say Nairobi Desert, they're not going to say, hey, you get -1 point because that's the wrong desert. They'll actually say, oh, you get +1 point because you just created more descriptive language. So again, I want to remind you that it's not about being correct with the information. Of course, your language has to be correct. It's about having detailed language. So you can BS all you want, okay? All right, so it is one of the 7 wonders of the world, located in the Sahara Desert of Egypt. Absolutely. I went there, my class and I flew to Egypt and then took a tour bus to the pyramid. Okay? So keep adding in those details. Again, what I'm doing here, so sometimes students say, oh, I have trouble generating ideas. I have difficulty coming up with questions. So how do I solve that situation? So for part 2, the cue card, how can you stretch the information? How can you add more details? What do you think I'm doing to add in these extra details? Thank you for that correction. All right. So what am I doing? What am I doing to add in these details? So why did I add in this detail right now? How do you think I did that? So how did I quickly come up with this next sentence of my class and I flew to Egypt and then took a tour bus to the pyramid? How am I lengthening the answer? This is one of the very common questions students ask is, how do I stretch my answers? How do I go into more details? How do I not get stuck repeating the same idea again and again? Murasa says, maybe I went there. No, it doesn't have to do with whether I went there or not. I've actually never been there, girls and guys, but I'm just visualizing. So that's one of my tricks. I'm visualizing. Absolutely. So I'm creating pictures in my head. But I'm having what's called an internal dialogue. Okay. So I'm predicting the questions of my listener. Okay. So in part 2, carry an internal dialogue. Okay. So practice carrying an internal dialogue for part 2. This means think about follow-up questions that you would ask yourself if you were having a conversation in front of a mirror. Okay, so don't just go from idea to idea and topic to topic. In this case here, where I said that my class and I, so here it's one of the 7 wonders of the world, located in the Sahara Desert of Egypt. My class and I flew to Egypt and then took a tour bus to the pyramid. The question that my internal self is asking me is, oh, really? How did you get there? Oh, really? How did you get to the middle of the desert? Okay, so that's my internal question that I'm asking myself there, okay? So be in control of that internal dialogue. Ask follow-up questions to what you're saying. Manisha, you can absolutely talk about the mummies in the pyramid. Again, this is, so what would be a good idea to do at this point here? So, look, so far I said I have visited many landmarks with my family, but if I had to choose, I would say the most memorable is the Great Pyramid of Giza. Not only is it huge, it can be seen from space, but it's also very unique with its triangular shape. I went there on a school trip with my classmates and the school principal, Mr. Jenkins, in grade 11 back in 2006. It was super exciting. It is one of the 7 wonders of the world, located in the Sahara Desert of Egypt. My class and I flew to Egypt and then took a tour bus to the pyramid. What would be a good decision to make here? What would be a good light bulb or red light in my head that should turn on at this point and go, ding, aha, I got to do something. What should I do? And yes, we can talk about the mummies and we can talk about the tombs and we can talk about all those interesting things and the camel rides that we took around the pyramid. But what should I do here? What should I do at this point most likely, girls and guys? Okay, the question is, I've talked for about 30, 40 seconds. I got to this much in my answer. What do I do? Let's see how many of you are really paying attention to the part 2 lesson so far. I would definitely, if I were sitting in the IELTS exam, this is, yeah, Naitiki, very good, Joshi. Very good. Very, very good. Absolutely. Very, very good, Naitik. I'm hoping that everybody's looking at Naitik's comments there. This is where I wouldn't change the topic, Jeffrey. What I would do, or not necessarily change the topic, but what I would do, the answer that I'm looking for here is this is where I would probably reference the cue card and reference my notes, okay? So at this point, it may be a good idea to reference the cue card and your notes, okay? It is okay to stop talking for a few seconds to gather your thoughts and find your direction. Okay? So at this point in your response, after about 40 seconds, it's a good idea to, hey, let me look at the card again, let me look at my notes again and see what else I want to say about the pyramid. And then what might happen is you look at the card and you realize, oh, what happens in this place? I haven't talked about that one. And, oh, why is this landmark so memorable for me? So now I still need to talk about these two questions, so I have task completion. Way too many times I see students missing at least one of these questions. So this is where I would check my card. Just take a couple seconds. You won't lose marks. You'll lose marks if you don't answer the questions. You won't lose marks if you stop for a few seconds to check your notes and check your question, okay? Don't stop for 20 seconds, but, 5, 6 seconds is okay. Look at the question. It's a lot of time. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000, 6, 1,000. It's a lot of time. In that time, you can glance at these. You know what's going on. And then you look at your notes. And in your notes, you have mummies and camel ride and tombs and gold statues. And hey, great. I can take that, I can combine it with these two, right? So, here, now that I looked at the card and I looked at my notes, I can easily continue with thousands of tourists visit the pyramid daily. I remember it was very crowded when I was there. Beyond taking pictures of the cool ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics. I'll have to check spelling on that and that. Let me just correct that for a second here. Okay, anyway, we'll get there. Hieroglyphics, mummies, and tombs. There are other activities for the tourists to enjoy. For instance, some of my classmates and me went on camel rides around the base of the pyramid. Okay, so sorry I kind of focused in on my writing there for a second, girls and guys, and lost you there. But I wanted to just get that out. So I wanted to show you that if I look at my notes, if I look at those two questions, I can really connect up these ideas. So I can say thousands of tourists visit the pyramids daily. I remember it was very crowded when I was there. Beyond taking pictures of the cool ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics, mummies, and tombs, there are other activities for the tourists to enjoy. For instance, some of my classmates and me went on camel rides around the base of the pyramid. Okay, so that's another way to do it. Okay, all right. So definitely connect your notes to the answers of those questions. Now, have we answered all the questions? Have we done a good job? Have we completed this task? Am I done? Should I just say, okay, that's it. I'm stopping now. Let's get on to part 3. And we're all good to go? Arcana says no. And I agree with you. Yeah, the last question, right? Never, ever miss that last question. It's not hieroglyphics, I think, Amarwadi. It's hieroglyphics. It's spelled a little bit differently, but I'll check that in a bit. Yeah, so there's still that last question. Don't forget to answer that last question. So what would be a good way to wrap this up? Give me some answers. I'll give this over to you. So all of you who are saying, hey, Adrian, you don't stop. You want to get a 9, keep going. Answer that last question. And do it as a concluding response. Pachu, Yadav, good suggestion there. Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it as a concluding response. Let's focus on that last question. It's not hydrographics, it's hieroglyphics, Amar. But I'll change the spelling here in a second while everybody's thinking of the answer. So remember the last question. If you don't remember it, look at the card. Take another 2 seconds. Take a peek at that card. Why this landmark is so memorable for you. So why is it so memorable for you? Okay, think about it. Great Pyramid of Giza. What could be a good way to answer that? Madav, one great way to start studying with me and with my company is check out our websites. Join us there. Okay, Pradeep says the information. Don't use the word things, Pradeep. Avoid it. The information I learned from the visit taught me some beautiful ideas that I should remember in history and learn from it, okay? The things there makes it an awkward response. Okay, because I went there with my family. Manasa, remember, you didn't go there with your family, so don't confuse your listener. You went there on a school trip with your classmates and your principal. Don't forget what you've said, okay? Why is it so memorable for you? I might want to use a correlative conjunction here as well, right? Not only is it memorable because, but also since, okay? So I might throw those in there. So that could be, there's the correct spelling for everyone. Okay, Ayman says the picture of the pyramid is still carved in my mind because I fell off the camel and broke my hand. Ayman, brilliant answer. Very good visualization. Very good answer. It's so good, in fact, I love it. I'm going to take it and use it, okay? It was not only the most memorable landmark because of its sheer size and beauty, but also since, unfortunately, I fell off the camel and broke my wrist. So I had to be taken to a hospital in Cairo. Okay? Brilliant. Okay? Let's see what else somebody said there. Behav, although it's imaginative, it would be a bit awkward. I definitely wouldn't go with a zombie apocalypse. I appreciate the humor, but I definitely wouldn't suggest using that in IELTS. So Shergill, that's a good answer. It was very memorable for me because I met a stranger there who treated me like a relative and impressed me so much that I keep in touch with this person to this day. They've become friends with me, so I'll never forget where I met them. That would be good too, okay? Cass Curious, another good response. It was the first time I had witnessed such a huge man-made monument that was part of a very ancient world. And to this day, people are not 100% certain of how the Egyptians accomplished building such a structure. Absolutely, that is a good answer as well. Baljeet, another good one. I made many native Egyptian friends there, and this associated with the pyramid in my mind to this day, so it's a very memorable landmark. Very good. Okay, girls and guys, that's some great answers there. And that's pretty much all the time I have for today, so we'll have to get to part 3. On maybe tomorrow. I'll do a short part 3 if I have the chance. Here are the questions for part 3. I encourage you to try to answer these, practice it at home, record it on your phone, and then send me your recording. So one of the students said, hey, how can I know if I make mistakes? Well, here's your chance to know if you're making mistakes in your speaking. Here are 3 questions about tourism. I challenge you to record your answers on your phone. Send me the recording to my email, and I'll give you a couple of ideas of where you're making mistakes, okay? And then you can correct those. Or another way you can do it, record it on your phone, listen, write down in the email what you said, and I'll give you back a brief correction of how I would say that correctly. Okay? Try it out. See how you do. All right? I'll show you another 3 questions if you're really studious. Here's another 3 that could be in part 3. Let's discuss city planning. There are 3 questions about city planning there. Okay? Somebody just asked me, do I have Facebook? I only use Facebook, my personal Facebook, for personal matters. We have a company Facebook site, so you can contact us on our company Facebook page. Just go back to the top here. Okay, girls and guys, so again, that's some great speaking practice. Thank you, a lot of students today. It was great participation. I really enjoyed seeing all of your creative ideas. It was very, very good. Make sure to practice at home. Definitely check out our full course. If some of you are still here bearing with me, if you go to our Academic IELTS website, it looks like this. And I told you that we have some new interactive exams for you there. So I'll show you what one of those looks like. And then you can decide for yourself if you want to try it out. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I hope that you do well on your IELTS exams. This is your student account. If you go to our webpage, there's interactive exams now that you can access. Here's a huge list of them. And if you click on them, what will happen is you'll be prompted for an interactive exam. And then you can do the listening section on your phone, on your tablet. You'll have audio playing, and then you can click the correct answer, click next, and you can do that for the reading sections and so on and so forth. So check that out. That's super, super cool. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching today's lesson. Keep up the good practice. You all have beautiful minds. I'm sure you'll reach your IELTS goals. Just keep up the good fight. Have a great rest of your night. Have wonderful dreams for those of you who are going to sleep. There are reading exams as well, Rohini, so check that out. Much love to everyone. And hope to see you in tomorrow's class. Remember, there will be an earlier class for Process Essay Task 1. Bye for now, everyone. Much love.